It's always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We are brought to you locally by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling service. Daryl, we inch a little bit closer to Houston. Sounds like CJ Stroud is not going to play. Let's start with that question. What does that mean for the Browns if Stroud doesn't play and we see an old friend in Case Keenum taking snaps on Sunday?
Well, I mean, I think that the Houston Texans passing game will be a little different. That being said, I also feel like it doesn't necessarily guarantee victory for the Browns because of the fact that Case is pretty good in the fill-in roles, right? I mean, he won 2 games for the Browns back in 2021. Played well for them last week. So I think the only thing it changes, Andy, is just the way maybe the Browns defend. I think that they can be a little more vertical and dynamic with CJ Stroud, more so than when Case. But again, Case is an experienced player, and he's pretty good at finding ways to win football games.
I'm going to go back to today because they talked about injuries and Obo Okoronkwo 00. I do think it's interesting that he has not been put on the injured reserve. So that did give me, when the question was asked in the press conference, I was like, all right, there's a little bit of hope here that maybe he could come back if they needed him week 17, week 18. I don't know. Daryl, give me some insight on that, will you?
I don't know why they haven't just put him on IR.
You think he's done?
Yeah. I mean, torn pec is a torn pec. You can't do much with that.
So why would they not put him on IR?
They're holding out hope, I guess. They know. That's the thing. Just don't play stupid with it and be like, well, we don't know yet. They know. Here's the thing with these medical tests. 90% of the time, they know what's wrong in the stadium. You know what I mean? And then on Monday, they just go for the confirmations. Okay, it is what it is. And here's the severity of what it is. But they know. Obviously, if they would have put him on IR already, that would have meant he would have missed the final 4 games of the season no matter what. Maybe he has a super pec that can heal in 3 weeks. I don't know. But I would have just put him on IR, but that's just me.
All right, let's move on to some other injured players here. Juan Thornhill missed practice today. Thoughts on him missing
today? Let's get
that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they didn't practice today. They've got a Thursday night game next week that they got to deal with. The injury report the last few weeks has ranged from 14 to 18 players being listed on it. And then that doesn't include the guys that are already lost for the season. So, I mean, Kevin Stefanski's trying to do his best to preserve the health of his football team down the stretch here. So that's why they didn't practice. It's not that they're not taking the Texans seriously or anything like that. They did an extended walkthrough on Wednesday, but they're just beat up right now. They really are. And so he's having to play a second game in 5 days. They had their bye week at week 5. And now they have to finish the season where they got to play 2 games in 5 days with half the starting lineup injured. It is just brutally difficult to do. So that's why they didn't practice. I asked about Juan and I got a non-answer there. So it's a calf injury. As we know, calf injuries tend to be multiple week injuries. We are in the multiple week injury or whatever thing here. Timeline, multiple week timeline. And yeah, we'll see.
Jordan Kunashik, I think I hit 3 of the 4. There was a 4th guy out today too. I'm trying to remember who that was.
Joel Bitonio.
Oh, Joel Bitonio. Yeah, I thought we were going to get to that. I wrote him down in a separate area. I was like, okay, I got the 3 guys here, and then I got Joel Bitonio over here. Why are you shaking your head at me? Because I wrote him down in a different section?
we'll see what happens on Thursday at practice. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to update injury wise because again, Kevin isn't giving any injury updates, and like I said, we didn't see anything. We literally walked into the building, walked into the locker room, came back. Kevin came in the media room, and I got the hell out of there. So, because there was nothing to do or see after that.
Let's talk about a guy who was injured that came back. Denzel Ward last week was on a pitch count. Just your thoughts on him as we separate a couple days away from the game on Sunday.
I don't have any thoughts.
Well, I mean, how do you think he played in his limited time?
He was all right. I mean, he didn't give up any big plays. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to answer injury questions right now, Andy, because we don't have a lot of information. So
I hear you. I just
what it is.
I'm hoping these guys are coming. I'm hoping that Thornhill's back this week. I hope Denzel gets a little bit more time. There was a question that let's just say they can survive these 2 games in 5 days and get to Cincinnati and you probably have it in front of you. I had it in front of me, and people got mad at me because I read all the scenarios the Browns have, all 8 different scenarios they have to clinching, but they all start with a win over Houston.
You're like Kevin Stefanski, or the people that are complaining are like Kevin Stefanski. They're not mathematicians.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm complaining about it. I love the fact that we're sitting
I'm saying people were complaining about you reading off all the scenarios.
Yeah, I don't care. So what? Who cares? We have scenarios. Does it really matter?
I know.
Isn't that nice? Smile, Daryl. That's nice.
It is.
We have 8 difference in 8, right? Isn't that correct? 8?
There is a segment of Browns fan that they're just a bunch of angry elves, right? I mean, they're just unhappy no matter what. When the team's bad, they're unhappy. The team's good, it's not good enough. And so I kind of try and tune those folks out and pay attention to the ones that have the ability to enjoy what's going on right now, in spite of the fact that the Browns, by all rights, have no business being where they are right now in the thick of this playoff race, considering all the guys that they have hurt. And, Joe Flacco was unofficially retired, right? He was
hang on.
He was being asked not to play for anybody. But yeah, I mean, the message out of Berea on Wednesday was they're really, really focused on the Houston Texans and trying to zero in on that, because let's be honest about it, none of the scenarios matter if the Browns lose that game. If they lose this weekend, the scenarios just don't matter. So
from today, that's true. All right, you brought up Joe Flacco. We're going to talk about him next. It's always game day in Cleveland. It is always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We are brought to you by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling service. And Daryl, why don't you tell the good folks what you need to tell them?
Should I read this the way it's been written since January?
Yes, read it like it's been since January. Read it.
Or should I ad-lib it to make it look like it's an up-to-date read?
Why don't you just make something up? Go.
Hey, guess what? Mobile sports betting.
What should I guess, Daryl? What do you want me to guess? Hang on. What am I guessing?
Never mind. Just
go ahead.
Just let me do this read, please.
Go.
Mobile sports betting has been legal in the state of Ohio since January. BetQL is ready to help you make the most informed bets possible. Get all of today's best bets by heading to BetQL.com or download the BetQL app. Claim your free 3-day trial today. Head to BetQL.com/news/923 The Fan for exclusive sportsbook offers. And hopefully by the new year, we'll have a new spot to read.
That's outstanding. That is just great news. Anyone who is a regular that has been listening to It's Always Game Day in Cleveland, congratulations to memorized. And I'd also like to tell all the idiots there that came here, but that they were going to It's Always Game Day in Buffalo. What other cities is it always game day in? Let's give the name away. Let's give the name away. What a great idea that was.
Yes.
It just makes it so easy to find this podcast. So easy. Daryl, you talked about Joe Flacco for a second. He spoke today. What words of wisdom did you learn from Joe Flacco's press conference today?
Well, first and foremost, the most critical thing, he shaved.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I just listened.
He's tempting the football gods.
Really?
He shaved.
Anybody mad?
Well, I'm sure the ladies aren't upset. But things I said, you realize things were going pretty well with the beard, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know about the 3 interceptions, but the end results were good. So, yeah, that was like the biggest news to come out of Joe Flacco's press conference on Wednesday is the fact he
The
shaved.
beard?
What are you doing? Dude, you're in the thick of a playoff race. You come back. Things are going well. You never mess with a winning streak, right? Isn't that what we learned?
Yeah, because the beard has so much to do with his winning streak.
It's
It has
the
so much
lucky
to do.
beard. It's the lucky beard. He shaved off the lucky beard. And here's the best. Andy, he did it before Christmas. He was going to look like Santa Claus for Christmas. He gave that up, shaved it.
Oh, he was going to do that when he wasn't playing?
Well, no. Never mind.
Go ahead. I'm not down with the beard story. Go ahead.
If
You're
you
saying
looked
that
at the
because
guy, he looked like Santa Claus.
I didn't think he looked like Santa Claus.
Yeah,
His beard's too dark.
it was. You had the scruffy Kevin Stefanski thing going, where half of it's white and half of it's natural color.
Salt and pepper is here.
Well, I don't know if his hair is pepper though.
It's dark. It looks more like salt and pepper.
Nah, I mean his hair color is like kind of like mine, maybe even a little lighter version of mine. Fun fact: I used to have blonde hair as a kid.
Oh man, because everyone that listens to It's Always Game Day in Cleveland was wondering what color was Daryl Ryder's hair.
Yeah, but you know what? That might explain a lot.
Maybe we should do a survey on that. What color should Daryl Ryder's hair be now? Should he go back to his original blonde? Because you can buy that in a bottle.
Yeah, no,
to anchor with all of those people.
I honestly, I care so little about my hair. You're lucky I comb it for the podcast.
I used to be a hair guy. Used to really worry about it.
I just
remember those days.
No.
When you would do TV with me and I'd pull you out.
I just don't. I just never really care about the hair. I'm all about keeping it as short as possible, maintenance free. I don't care about the hair products or anything like that. Yeah, coloring, whatever. I'm not going bald. I kind of was hoping I'd lose it, so it'd be less I have to take care of in that. But I think I'm stuck with a full head of hair.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. You want to argue with Phelps about that a little bit later, or anybody else? Jeff Thomas, they'll argue with you. Oh, it's such a burden to have hair.
They can have mine,
baby.
I will be more than willing to donate.
Daryl, who has the best hair on the Browns as the Browns beat reporter?
Greg Newsome.
He does have.
I love Greg Newsome's hair. It's fantastic. He's got great hair.
At a charity event today? Did I see that, or was that yesterday? Or
I think. No. So today he dressed up as Santa.
Oh, okay.
He was Santa Greg. So he was doing one of his multimedia social media bits that he does weekly for the Browns, and so he was dressed as Santa as he walked around the locker room, and then did his media availability. Somebody asked him what's with the Santa outfit during his press conference. And then after the press conference, myself and others pointed out to this individual, Christmas is on Monday, right? Like, yeah, just pointing that out. So, little behind the scenes inside the Browns locker room for you there. But
so wait, Christmas is on Monday this year? Because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and
so does that mean Christmas Eve is Sunday?
Yes, in which the Browns are playing. And the NFL is doing a triple header on Christmas.
Yeah, did you see? I thought this was interesting. The NFL, I saw a story today that they will not play games on Tuesday or Wednesday if Christmas falls on Tuesday or Wednesday, but they will play anywhere. Barrett Sports Media had that story saying that the NFL would never, they're not going to play games on Tuesday or Wednesday if Christmas falls on that day, although they want to own the holiday. Like they've kind of taken it away from the NBA, haven't they?
I always associated Thanksgiving with the NFL, and I always associated Christmas with the NBA. And I'll be honest with you, I wish the NFL would have left Christmas to the NBA this year instead of scheduling a triple header. So, but that's just me.
I'd rather watch the NFL than the NBA on Christmas. Gonna be honest, just not gonna lie to you about it. Okay. Should the NFL be playing these games on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve?
Not on a not if it falls on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Absolutely not.
So should they play all the games on either Christmas or Christmas
falls on a Friday again? They should totally play on a Friday. I mean, they've added the Black Friday game, so yeah, they can play on a Friday.
Are you good with that though? That's my question.
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
Well, I mean, it's been an argument. Here's the other thing. We had a big conversation today on the We had our conversation about this. TBA games, good or bad for the NFL?
Well, good, because what that's allowing them to do is just basically keep everything fluid, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we knew what the Bears and the Bengals games were the two TBA games on the Browns schedule, right? And that was,
right. What do we think?
Now that was week 15 and week 18. So they told us about 2.5 weeks in advance of the Bears game when it was going to be.
That's more than you get in college.
And then for week 18, I don't think we're going to find out when the Browns play until maybe like Sunday night of the, so they're going to play the Jets on Thursday night. And I don't think we're going to know when that Browns-Bengals game gets played until the close to the conclusion of Sunday Night Football on that weekend, because here's what, like, the AFC South is tight right now. It's a 3-team race between Jacksonville, Houston, and Indianapolis. I just off the top of my head, I'm going to pull up the playoff.
Here, Daryl, do this. Let's talk playoffs when we come back. Let's take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll talk playoffs. How's that sound?
Fine by me.
Sounds good to all of us. It's always game day. Cleveland playoffs next. It's always game day in Cleveland still. And now we're talking playoffs. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We are brought to you locally by Smiley One. See? Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling service. They got you covered. Go talk to my guys at Smiley One. They're great guys. Again, he's Daryl. I'm Andy. Let's talk playoffs. Okay?
Yeah, I got the scenarios here, and there's log jams everywhere.
Are we talking about just not the 8 scenarios for the Browns, but
no. Just like the playoff field right now when trying to figure out what they're going to do on in week 18, right?
Right.
Browns and Bengals could potentially be for a wild card spot. The AFC South is up for grabs. Colts, Texans, and Jaguars. Had a brain cramp there. Jacksonville right now has all the tiebreakers there. That's up for grabs. The NFC South is the NFC West is up for grabs right now. The NFC South, not the NFC West. I really need a nap.
You do need a nap. You sound like it all show, so that's okay. I'm not going to sell you short.
The Buccaneers are 7-7. Minnesota's 7-7. The Rams are 7-7. Seattle's 7-7. My Saints are 7-7. So, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. Ravens are already in. 49ers, Cowboys, Eagles have all clinched in the NFC, but now seeding and especially the bottom portion of things. I mean, in the AFC, Pittsburgh, like if you're under 500 right now, I'm not saying you're in the hunt. It's kind of the rules I used to apply to the Browns, right? When people are like, Browns are still in the hunt, I'm like, they're below 500. When they get to 500, you can say they're in the hunt. So Denver and Pittsburgh at 7-7 each. They are the 10th and 11th slots. So you got Buffalo, Houston, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati all at 8-6. Jacksonville's also 8-6, but again, they've got the tiebreakers to win the South. Now, the Browns are on a collision course basically to play whoever wins the AFC South, because the AFC South is going to be the lowest divisional winner seed.
Right, and if Browns should beat Houston this week, they'll have beat up the entire division, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really hard right now to handicap what the NFL is going to do for week 18 when it comes to Browns Bengals for the season finale, because there's so much of this playoff picture right now is in flux. Division titles are still in flux. Wild card spots are still in flux. And like I said,
3 teams are already in the NFC, and just the Ravens in the AFC with 2 weeks to go.
Only
That's
4 teams
pretty
have
good
finished as we head into week 16.
So, but let me ask you this, because whoever wins the East, whether it's the the Eagles or the Cowboys, right? Whoever wins that is going to have a pretty good record and end up being the 5 seed. And I was looking at that today because the Eagles right now are sitting as the 5 seed, but they're already in the playoffs. And I'm like, should they be playing by division? Like if the Browns should land the Jags, right? Who right now are sitting in 4 and the Browns are 5.
You know who's going to host a playoff game before the Cleveland Browns do?
Who?
Baker Mayfield.
No, that's true.
By the way, how about that performance at Lambeau Field this weekend?
You feeling good about it still? You're still feeling good about that? I still want to finish this other subject, but tell me your Baker feelings quickly.
No, just it was an incredible performance. Perfect passer rating. The only visiting quarterback to do that in that stadium. It's pretty impressive.
Are you wishing he was still here? Are you a Baker
I was just acknowledging that Baker is on track to host a playoff game before the Cleveland Browns are.
Yeah, they would need. So just thinking about the standings off the top of my head,
Tampa
if
Bay
the Browns should, which this is possible, the Browns could win this week and then go beat the Jets on Thursday night. The Ravens could easily lose to Miami and the Niners. If that was the case, the Browns would be in first place.
Right.
Going into the last week of the season, which then maybe would put Browns-Bengals on Sunday night.
See, well, no, because the reason why is because remember how the NFL likes to do this? They want those games being played at the same time. So if the AFC North is up for grabs, I don't know who Baltimore has in week 18, but they're going to want the Ravens to be playing at the same time as the Browns are. If you go into week 18 and the AFC North is up for grabs.
Is on the line.
Right. Yeah. That's what the NFL does. And again, this is the complicating factor to this whole playoff picture and how the NFL schedules things, because they want to make sure that games
are always meaningful,
that impact the same playoff scenario, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make sure those games are being played at the same time in that same time slot. So that's just a whole nother layer to week 18. It's not just about picking the win and you're in type of scenario that they always want for Sunday Night Football in week 18. Mm-hmm. It's also about, okay, yeah, you might be looking for that winner in scenario or win the divisions, the divisional championship type of a scenario for week 18, but you have to also, they're looking to make sure that there's no other games that, so there's no competitive advantage of them sitting around waiting, watching results or whatever, and then they go out and play, if that makes sense. So the week 18 is not going to probably be announced until, let's see, that's December 28th is when the Browns play there. I'm trying to read a calendar. I got real bad eyes here.
No.
Well, we probably will not be able to find anything out about week 18 until December 31st. Sunday at usually fourth quarter. That's when I can see them.
And there is no Monday night game last week of the season, right? 18 doesn't have a Monday night game.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do either. But so I'm just thinking of the schedule ahead. You have 3 games on Christmas. You've got regular stuff. 3 games on Christmas Day, right? Regular games on Christmas Eve, 3 games on Christmas Day.
Yeah, the entire week 18 slate is TBD. Bears, Packers, Broncos, Raiders, Texans, Colts, Eagles, Giants, Vikings, Lions, Jets, Patriots, Rams, 49ers, Buccaneers, Panthers, Cowboys, Commanders, Jaguars, Titans, Bills, Dolphins, Seahawks, Cardinals, Falcons, Saints, Steelers, Ravens, Chiefs, Chargers, and the Browns and Bengals. Everything is TBD for week number 18. And I do not believe, just based on this that I'm looking at on the NFL's website right now, I don't see a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, there isn't one. That's why last week, I don't think they have one last week. All right, Daryl, I've got a question that I still want to ask you, but I will do that in the next podcast, and that is...
Why not ask me now?
No, we're done.
Why?
We're done, because you have things to do, so do I.
Post-game. I don't want to wait till post-game.
We're not doing it post-game. I'm going to leave you with this, and I want you to think about this, and I want this to keep you up at night. I want you not to sleep.
I have enough things in my life that keep me up at night.
Contemplate this.
Is not going to be one of them.
If you're the number 5 seed and you have a better record than number 4 seed, should you not have a home game? Don't answer. Answer in next week's edition of It's Always Game Day in Cleveland. Meredith Kane, you're the greatest. You're our producer. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. It's Always Game Day in Cleveland.